Hi everybody, Brian here from quantlabs.net. Today I want to show you on Windows 7 source code I've got. I'll be putting up on Github, doing a walkthrough and also a setup on how to use the Office Outlook with this add-in called message export or export message from a company called Encryptomatic. Their support's pretty good. So I've got this working. I try to do various ways. The only thing I've tried to use 100% Python. To be honest, it does not keep up with the signals coming in when I have the Python code log in to into your email. So as a result, I ended up having to use Outlook because that's the best way to keep this up to date. So I'm going to show you how it all works. Right now, the system's going pretty crazy with signals. I'm just testing it, and a lot of them are all false and negative. But I'm just going to show you how it works and how to set it up and how to go through the source code. So first things first, this is a required add-in called message export that you'll need for your Outlook. And again, this will only work on Windows as far as I know. Let me go into the Outlook right now. So right here is the Outlook. These are the incoming emails for the signals, and there's a lot of them. I'm just trying to, just to thrash it to see if it can keep up, and it is, which is good. So in here in your Outlook, you can set up your message export add-in once you get it. It's a $79 product. Something I'd probably recommend, the only way to do it. And you'll be able to set up these different profiles. So I'll edit the one I have right now. I just call it signals. And what I've got, I've set it up to export as it comes in. It will export the email and it'll strip out the email and take out all the necessary components and save all the different incoming emails and save them into a CSV file format. And that's what I've got. You can export it as CSV, is probably the easiest. You can also choose where you want the file to get exported to. So here I've got it exported to the output folder of Outlook test. So when you go to that folder, how it works is, and I gotta say the support for this Encryptomatic is really good. I've not bought this yet, but I'm pretty close to doing it. As I said, it's a $79 product. So what it will do is it will export the email and then convert it into a CSV. So this is what it looks like right here, and it will send out the as a CSV with the format of from, subject, date, to, and body. So my Python code will work with subject and body, and I do that through a data frame. Now, if you want to know how this works even better, if you go to my site at quantlabs.net, I've got a course that will be very useful for those that might not know how to use this. Basic Python would be needed. Just go to my quantlabs.net, go to the store, and I have a course here called Click Here for All Python Courses. In here, you'll be able to learn about what I'm going to show you, plus you'll be able to have a lot of flexibility to work with TA-Lib, Technical Analysis Library, and some others to set up your position sizing, your entry, your exit, if you want to apply a stop loss or whatever. And right now, these signals do come from Kraken. I have played with Kraken. I've done a presentation a few days ago on what's the best exchange out there. From what I'm seeing for momentum-based strategies, what this is, Kraken is your best because you can now, what I just verified, you can apply stop losses on your account in Kraken, and you can also do a theoretical shorting capability with Kraken using margin selling, which is the same thing I would assume as shorting. So I'm not going to get in that in great detail, but I'm just going to show you the basics here. So we know we have these emails coming in, as I said here. What's happening is I've got this output of this program here, and what it will do is it will receive the email, and as I said, it'll parse it up. So here it'll receive the signals underscore 003 CSV right here, and from there it will parse it all up. So here the output is this right here would be the body, as well as I parse it up into individual levels, which is using Fibonacci. And again, I'll show you that in a minute. But the key points that you need to take away from here are the subject and the body. So here's some more incoming emails or getting converted over. If you go back over to the Outlook, I'll show you the format of one of the emails here. So here's a typical email, okay? So what it's going to do is the signal come in from the crypto. My system will generate this. It'll email out to your account, to whatever you set up your account to be. I would only use your email only for this, for signaling, because you can get potentially quite a bit, depends upon how I set it up. Right now it's going crazy. A lot of these positions will be losers, but that's okay. But essentially what it will do is this message export will parse out, as I said, the subject. And what it's really looking for is to know that it's looking for the word crypto, because my service and the service I'm speaking of, if I go back to the store, the service I'm speaking of is this Quant Analytics. So when you sign up for that, you'll be able to get these signals to your to your email exactly as I'm showing you. Obviously with better signaling outside of the testing, this can be pretty crazy. And it will generate an email and send it out to your assigned email that you have in your account in this service, the Quant Analytics. So in there, what it's looking for is it will work with both forex and crypto. Right now in this video, I'm going to focus on crypto. So one of the things that my Python script will look for the word crypto to decipher is this signal a crypto or a forex. So that's one key element. And the other key element is the body. Because right here, again, it's looking for that word crypto. And then it's looking for entry or exit. And it's also looking to know what pair or symbol it is. All of the pairs that I use for this Quant Analytics service only uses fiat currency for Ethereum, because, as I said, right now this is a momentum-based strategy, and it's just using the basics. So it's using Ethereum against USD. And right here in this body, this would be the closing price, and these are all the different Fibonacci levels that you can set if you choose to use this. So you can use the entry levels of level 500 for Fibonacci, 618 for the entry, which this signal will take place at, as well as level 786 and level 1 or 1000, as you'll see in the code. Okay, so that's what it's using. I'm going to show you the code now, because it's probably what you're looking for. So let's go through the code. So what code I'm using is this program right here. This is what I call Recieve Signal Crypto. Okay, so this is the actual source code. First thing we need to really understand is we've set a watcher to watch a particular folder. So the folder that we're watching is this My Documents Outlook test. So we set that up in the Outlook add-in, as I shown you here. And for the signals profile, if I edit it, output folder right here, so I can manually set this to whatever I want. Outlook test is what I'm using. Okay, so that's the folder that these signals get added to. So the next thing, what happens is, now I'm not going to get into too much great detail here on how this works, but if there is a blog post from this guy, I think it's Michael Choi or something like that. But you can get details of how this works. But essentially what it does is it's a mixed style of Python using object-oriented, and what I do is sequential, but that's okay. We just want it to work. This is not for your employer. So even if there are areas that can be improved, yeah, it can be improved, but from my point of view, I don't really care. I just want this thing to work and make it simple for people to understand. So what this does is it will set up this watcher class, because there's these two classes. So and it'll instantiate this watcher class, and then it'll start to run it. So the watcher class is how it's set up. It will watch that folder that you define here, which again I defined and configured in the Outlook add-in that just showed you. So that's the folder. And then what it essentially does, you set up this run, which is called here, and it will just go through this. I won't say it's like a watch process, and it goes to sleep. And when something happens to the folder with an event, it will wake up and do something with that folder activity. So what happens is, in the folder, there's two events that can take place. It can either create a file, which here it's saying received event and created event. So there's only two events that can happen. So if the file's new, it's going to create it, and then it's going to just blurt that out, and then it's going to process the signal. Now this doesn't really matter on the modified, but what we do care is about processing the signal. So once there's a change, which basically means when a new file comes in and gets created, called signals 26, 32, 31, doesn't matter. The Python script will wake up, raise the event, and then if it's a created event, it will run this function called process signal. And this event source path is the name of the file, including the path. So in here, in the process signal, we know what the name of the file plus the path. Again, we print it out just for debugging purposes. And what we're going to do is, we know it's a CSV file format. Okay, we know that as a fact. I think I showed you that in an editor. If not, this is what it looks like. So I'll just load it up in a notepad, or better yet, might make more sense in the other one, WordPad. So you can see here's the headlines right here, and then these are the different elements for from, subject, data, to, and body. And as I said, we only really care about subject and body, okay? And what happens is, in the code, the Python code, what it will do is it will read that file, and it's a comma separated value with only one row in it, and it will create a data frame, a pandas data frame, okay? So once we know that, we know the title of the, will only have one row and various columns. As I said, the columns will be, as I've shown you here, these are the columns right here. So the only columns, again, we care about are subject and body, and there's only going to be one row in each of these new CSV files generated by the message export add-in, okay, from Outlook. So knowing that, what we can do now is we have the capabilities now to say, okay, we now have a new data frame, one row with all these different columns. So the first thing we do is we have a values, because it's a series, puts it in this thing called type string, and all I'm trying to do is look for the word crypto in the type string, and if it's not there, this particular signal is not a crypto signal, it's a forex signal, most likely. But it has to be a crypto signal, so that's what this test and logic does. it will only, in the subject, look for crypto signals. So if we know that there is an actual word crypto in the subject, basically is what I'm saying, it will then proceed. So what we do is we look at the body column, or the row, and then what we do is we parse out, take the value, put it into the signal string, and then we now have a new signal string. So essentially what we're talking about here is this right here, this piece right here that I'm looking at right here, that I'm highlighting, that's the body of the email, okay? So we know that it's going to be having these weird page HTML tags or paragraph tags. It will also have the name of the file, or the name of the title of the email or whatever in the body. That's how I just put it in there just for fun. It will also include the pair. So this is XTZ in US dollars. We know it's an entry, and again, this is important we understand this. This right here, this 1.1127738, that is the closing price. So from this point on, these are the Fibonacci levels. The only Fibonacci levels we care about are these last three right here. This one is level 1 or 1000. This is the 786. This is the 618. So we know the way I have developed this strategy is we know this is the target, and it's at 111,355 whatever. That's the entry. This is a bogus closing price because we're testing. But theoretically, we only will generate a signal when the closing price is higher than this entry price at the 618 level. And then we can set these new targets for the actual position when it's put on, and we can do all kinds of things by, and I'm going to show you, I even have more flexibility, but I'm only including these Fibonacci levels if you want to go crazy in your Python code that I'm showing you right now. So understanding, again, and I'm going to repeat, we have our symbol or our crypto pair, which is again in here in the pair of XTZ and US dollar. It's an entry, closing price, and these are all the Fibonacci levels. This one's level 1, level 786, and 618. So knowing that you understand that, this is how we do it. So again, we know that we have the crypto. It's a crypto signal because we test if it exists or not. If it is a crypto, we do our parsing from the body column. Okay, so all of these parsing, we parse it all out by generating tokens, by running this split function right here, this guy, and we parse it out with the comma. So we know that the symbol's token 1, the side, which is either an entry or an exit, is token 2. Token 3 will be the closing price, and the last 6, 7, 8 positions will be Fibonacci level 618, 786, and 1000. Here's a little different, okay, on the 1000 because this is the end of the string. So this is what this last token will generate, is something like this, okay? So we need to now parse out only the number component right here. This is all what we care about. So we need that and assign that as level 1000. So in a simple way, and again, I'm sure there's a different way to Pythonize it, make it more efficient. What do I care? I'm not here to impress people. So what we do here is we parse out anything that has the symbol of the less than sign, because it's right here after our level, our number of the level 1000 or level 1, whatever you want to call it, and we don't care about all this other stuff. So we just tokenize or split on the less than sign here, and we just only extract the very first token because it's zero based. So that's the first element of that token array, because these when you use this split function, they become array types. So knowing that we have now our level 1000, that's our new number. I just print them out for debugging purposes. As you can see here, this is a float, and these are the last three levels. Again, 618, 786, and 1000. One last step before we place the order is you can see here in the pair, it's XTZ USD. It has no slash. So what we do is we just do a simple replace of the US dollar, and we put a slash in front of the USD before we send the order out into CCXT and using CCXT, and that's what we do here. So this is now assigning the place order. We place the order with the pair that we assign. Where does it get assigned? Yeah, right here. And then we have our closing price, which will be a float, and then we also have our side, which will either again be entry or exit. And let me show you that function called place order. This is really important. I make this open source. I make this available on GitHub. I make it available so people can do all kinds of crazy stuff. All the information I show you for the Fibonacci levels, to be honest, are not needed, okay? They are not needed. I just use them. I could use them, but they're not needed. But here's the beautiful thing using something like Kraken. Again, this is really important. I cannot stress this. Here, I put in capitals for the purpose to stress this. Remember that the signals are being generated from the crypto exchange. If you want to be in sync with your orders, make sure that you keep your orders in using Kraken. That's also being developed for and supported for the US market for customers out there that use Kraken. And again, I've just done a presentation on this to compare Binance, Coinbase, and Kraken. And a few things just to summarize about why Kraken. Yes, you can short. Yes, you can also apply stop loss. I just learned this like in the last hour on the stop loss. So I've included various links and example code. And again, I cannot stress this also. I'm using a Python package, a wrapper called CCXT. If you need to know what that is, all you got to do is just go over to GitHub and just look for CCXT, which is a wrapper for the crypto world, and it enables you to have over 100 plus exchanges that will wrap all against all these exchanges. Again, I'm using Kraken here, and it's a wrapper for all of these exchanges. So understand that. If you need more details, I put it into that Python course that I've highlighted right here from within the Quant Lab store. All right, so continuing along, I've included some examples here. So in here, you can do things like price to, which is another way of applying a stop loss. I've also included another example on how to apply shorting capabilities using margin accounts. So all of these examples are in here, but I take a lot of assumptions here. I don't provide the code for the actual order you want. Also in here, you can, for your position sizing and what they call the amount right here, you can use all kinds of techniques to adjust the amount that you want when you put your order in. You can use it for using the TA-Lib that I showed you or mentioned here, which is in this course. You can use that function, that package for technical analysis, over 300 of them. You can also apply quant capabilities or machine learning. Now, you got to really understand why Python, because with Python, you have the capabilities of applying machine learning, any typical machine learning, large machine learning framework, be it TensorFlow, PyTorch, Keras, whatever you want in Python. You can apply in here in this place order however you want, for position sizing, for exiting, whatever you want. You can apply all these techniques, and that's why I make this available as open source. Okay, so you can customize it however you want. Maybe people out there may fork this project or this repository and add in their own methodologies for the exits and the entries using these techniques with Kraken. I don't know, but it's a lot of flexibility here. Okay, so in the meantime, as a placeholder, all I'm really doing is doing something so dumb and easy. There are no physical orders being placed, but here are some examples of how to do it using, again, the CCXT account or Python package. And in here, you will be able to use CCXT to your heart's content. So for now, as I said, as a placeholder, all we're doing is generating a text variable with the pair name, the side, again, entry or exit, and the price. That's it. There's no order, size, or position sizing. None of that's done, and this thing is logged. Okay, so that's what we're doing here, is to log it in this thing called cryptoorders.log, and no different than in C, it writes plus whatever is in the TXT. And if I go and look at that log, let's see here. The log would typically look something like this. And there you go. There's the pair, entry, and then the closing price. So then you can run other Python scripts against that to do your analysis throughout your trading session, your trading day, or whatever, and go crazy and just look at the exits and entries. Another way to, if you're interested in running P&L, take a look at a website called cointracking.com. Okay, so that is cointracking.com. I've used it. It will easily synchronize with your exchange called let's say Kraken, if that's what you use. And here's all the exchanges it uses in crypto. So you can use this for your P&L measurement. I plan to do that as well. So that's everything included, including the source code walkthrough. Hopefully you've got some questions or whatnot. I do know there may be some anal people out there critiquing this Python coding style. That's okay. I don't really care, because I'm just trying to keep it as simple as possible, make it efficient as possible, which it really isn't. But at the same time, just wanted to get the code out there and working, and it seems to work pretty good and keeps up with everything as is. So there you go. Hopefully you can work with it. Got comments, questions, let me know via wherever you see this video on Facebook or YouTube, and also to all my current customers as well. And if you got any questions, you can always, for my customers, always go over to my chat server, a private one, which is available for all my quantlabs.net customers, and ask your questions there, or on the social media as well. We shall talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.